welcome to the AEW Dynamite review. I'm Adam Wilbourn from WhatCulture, joined by another one, Michael Sidgwick from WhatCulture, here to review everything that happened on last night's episode of AEW Dynamite. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. We do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review AEW Dynamite, but also AEW Collision, Raw, SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. Pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a round of the week complete with a quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, joined by Michael Sidgwick to review last night's Dynamite, the penultimate Dynamite before All In.
Indeed. It wasn't the best Dynamite I've ever seen. There were two matches that I was really taken by. One or two, I very much was not. Storyline advancement, I've got a big bugbear about something that happened later in the show, which I think invites a broader conversation. Ultimately, am I more excited about All In than I was yesterday? Maybe yes, because one wrestler who we're about to analyze imminently had a night that she needed to have.
Yeah, we talked about this on the preview yesterday about saying, you know, Mercedes, sorry, where are my manners? Mercedes.
Money.
Versus Britt Baker kind of sells itself, but
It's box office.
But
You want it to be good.
You hadn't seen anything to necessarily justify it being a potential sort of match of the night sort of thing. But the show, I can't believe I'm saying this, the show opens, Sidge, with the TBS Championship match.
Hey.
Who could have called that one? Oh, yeah. Mercedes Moné versus Hikaru Shida for the TBS Championship. We aren't playing the game, though, of course, this week with no Hamlet. Both try a drop kick early on. That leads to a bit of a stalemate. But Mercedes, the story at large parts of this match was Mercedes was terrified of a knee lift from Shida. And you could see why, to be honest. She bailed at one point, and you thought, that would have killed her. Shida tries suplexing Mercedes in from the apron, but Camille, who's also out there, holds on to Mercedes' leg, and Moné gets a roll-up for two. Shida comes back, tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. She tries again for her running knee while Moné was draped on the apron. This time, Camille stood in front of her and also allowed Mercedes to recover and hit a meteora off the apron, and another one back inside for a nice near fall. Shida does manage to come back with a running knee, but Moné grabbed a backstabber. Gets 2 out of the 3 amigos, but Shida countered with a Falcon Arrow and got a nice 2 count there. Really good stuff, that. So Camille's panicking now. She pulls Moné to the safety of the outside. She eats a dropkick by Shida, who also just twats her with a kendo stick. She goes to hit her again, but Mercedes grabs it from in the ring and takes it away from her, argues with the ref, and that allows Camille, behind the referee's back, on the outside, of course, to nail Shida with a big boot, roll her back inside. Moné hits the Moneymaker for the 1, 2, 3. Let's talk match, and then we'll talk, obviously, the Britt Baker involvement afterwards.
I was all kinds of delighted with this. Absolutely delighted. We talk a lot about and I'll complain a lot about the formulaic Dynamite match card in which you know who's going to win every single match, pretty much, most weeks. This had that flavor, but it was a better version of it because Shida's she runs hot and cold, but she can deliver greatness in the ring as she did tonight. So it was a good compromise where if you're going to have a pretty predictable match that basically exists to heat somebody up ahead of a less than predictable title match at All In, make it good. Make it marquee, make it between 2 stars who are over, and that's exactly what this was. And again, it answers another long-standing AEW critique of them not doing all-star marquee matches on TV. This is almost the perfect compromise and almost the perfect television match. I thought this was excellent. On a broader level, again, delighted. I was just feeling delight. That's the theme of this review. I was delighted, or I am delighted, that they just turned a heel. Full-blown heel. That was that strange start. Obviously, the Willow Nightingale match felt big towards the very end of that program, and the match itself was excellent, but there was that weird sort of, do you need that continuity? Or the character dynamics, like, just a bit confusing, and as the audience split,
Yeah, we're thinking, are they going to turn Willow heel?
Yeah, it was all a bit odd. She's gone full-blown heel now, and it works so well because when we talk about Mercedes Moné and praise her, it's usually that unbelievable attitude. I mean, who could forget the Izzy thing? Mm-hmm. Talk about how cool she is, how sort of aloof. She's just a born heel in the ring, and then she can bump incredibly well as she did here. What I kind of lost sight of was how good she is at showing ass and selling. And she just performed this match with like really, really great facial expressions and body language throughout. Like she was completely outmatched. Like she did that bit where she was avoiding the knee and she sort of like ran for cover by the ropes. And I think she let slip a holy as in like, I didn't really account for this. I'm kind of in trouble here. She sold being outmatched throughout, brilliantly informing some genuinely sensational and believable near falls. I just thought her performance here was so good that feeling where you go into a wrestling match, particularly on AEW Dynamite, definitely on AEW Collision, where it's like, right, settled in, I know who's going to win, but this should be all right, or this should be really good, or whatever. That kind of cynical, not particularly like up for it mindset evaporated within seconds. As soon as they started going hell for leather with these sort of blistering mat exchanges and Mercedes Moné was bumping all over the place, that's sort of, you don't want to have that preset in your head, but it's difficult because you just know who's going to win. That mindset evaporated and I just got lost in the feeling of, oh God, Sheeta's kicking her ass.
Yeah.
Sheeta's kicking her ass. Those are 2.99 kickouts. She's in trouble. She's selling being in trouble. This is a very long-winded way of saying it was so easy to suspend your disbelief watching this match. The level of work was really, really high. I thought the drama was almost staggering at points. I still think they've got better in them as well. I would put this closer to 4 than 4.5 out of 5. It's not out of infinity. But I was really tremendously impressed with this. And it wasn't just the facials and the body language. Being a Mercedes Moné match, or a high-end Mercedes Moné match at least, like, she spiked herself on the head with that Hurricane Rana. It was great. She took a knee to the coccyx. It was just like, that looked like it was agony to absorb. And the finish was really well done. Lean, tidy, didn't outstay its welcome, didn't strive for like 18 minutes, like another match on this bloody show. I thought this was, in every conceivable aspect, an excellent bit of business.
You talk about subverting what we know in terms of predictable winner, predictable loser. There was also, ironically,
I know broadly it has to be.
Yeah, but there was also, ironically, there was a bit of a, the whole, if that happens on such and such, they win the title. I did like the sort of tease of like, Britt Baker could be absolutely battering Mercedes, but because Camille's out there now, if that happens next Sunday, it's going to piss you off, not just, or something else might happen. Who knows? Anyway, speaking of which, Britt Baker, her music hit. Camille tries to cut her off on the ramp and then thinks, wait a second, she's done this before.
This is clever.
Grabs a masked fan in the crowd. That's a lawsuit. Beats her up, or beats them up, I should say, because it's not Britt Baker, because she slides in to the other side of the ring. Pops on her glove for a split second. I thought, oh God, please don't faff around with that glove.
It was a bit awkward.
Yeah. But she spins around, Mercedes spins around and gets her ass handed to her by Britt Baker. But before she can put the lockjaw on, Camille pulls Mercedes to safety and backs away from kendo stick shots from Britt too.
A really clever angle. A really cool, clever way of putting the babyface over as clever. It's all very traditional now. It's better now. This is markedly different from the Willow Mercedes feud because I'm not saying all wrestling has to be this way, but it's so clear who the babyface is. It's so clear who the heel is. They've gone very, very, very trad here. The heel's got the babyface is clever enough to outsmart the heel and get hands on it. Like the balance is perfect. Dynamic is perfect. And you get that sort of feeling of being deprived, but get it all in and you'll see them come to blows. They've built the anticipation, they've built the suspense, they've built that idea of they will be getting their hands on each other soon. Video packages or whatever, for me, I think we're ready on this one.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I was just thinking there, how many more Dynamites we've got to go, and I just remembered where we are and how far we are, of course, away. just over
9 days
away from All In, of course. We see the chaos backstage following Dynamite last week with the big brawl and Jarrett and Hangman Page and what have you. And Renee's catching up with Jarrett and his pals, suggesting that Hangman Page has been a thorn in his side. And Jeff Jarrett starts ranting about how he's not been a thorn in their side. He's just been a bell end, basically. But before he can even get the words out, Page runs in and beats him up again. And Sonjay Dutt, and then grabs Lethal and basically drags him out to start their match. As soon as the bell rings, though, Jay Lethal hit, I think, 5 consecutive suicide dives, which the crowd will love him. Takes Page to the apron, but Page immediately hits a dead eye on the end of the ring and chucks Lethal over the timekeeper's area to take us to break. When we come back, another brutal-looking Death Valley driver this time spikes Lethal for a near fall, and that's when Page realizes he's bleeding from the mouth. These things happen. Sometimes it's not even necessarily you getting hit with something. You might just, bite your cheek as you're hitting a move. But no, that's enough to wind him up even more. Be like, nobody makes me bleed my own blood. Gets even more pissed off. But he takes too long. Lethal comes back, hits the Lethal combination, but Page kicks free from a figure 4, puts him in a crossface. Lethal counters into a roll-up for 2. Goes again.
That was awesome as well.
Yeah.
Page is in the pantheon. Sorry for the alliteration. It is the work of Carter Roman Angle Kenny. What a 2.99 this was. Like in a Jay Lethal Dynamite match of all things.
Page rakes the eyes, though, hits a huge discus lariat, and whilst the ref's checking on Lethal, Page just waiting on the apron. Buckshot lariat, 1, 2, 3.
This was not inoffensive to me.
Okay.
Yesterday, I was very low on the prospect of this match. It's total Tony Khan autopilot, star versus associate of upcoming rival.
Yes.
This is a pretty damn good version of it, or at least one that didn't annoy me or didn't do anything detrimental to Hangman Page's character. It worked because, I mean, Hangman Page, I say it every week, is an in-ring pro wrestling genius. That getting a near fall so convincing out of a Jay Lethal Dynamite match, considering Jay Lethal Dynamite match is like, TVtropes.org, right? If there's an AEW list, Jay Lethal Dynamite matches on there. The TV trope being, we just need someone to have a win. Jay Lethal, are you around? Thank you. You'll do the job.
Yeah.
He always does. What I forgot, hands up, when we were discussing this on the preview yesterday, because I am not necessarily moved by babyface Jay Lethal. I'm just not. I don't really see him as a babyface. Pause. And more to the point, when he was in that tag with Jarrett last year, that was one of my more entertaining mid-card adventures, that Jarrett and Lethal tag. There was a lot of just pure entertainment value to be had. So I always enjoy him more as a heel, as a baby face. I'm just like, whatever. I forgot that people in these arenas, and it's happened since day one of Jay Lethal's AEW run, and I seem to forget it every single time, people in the buildings really love Jay Lethal.
Yes.
He's had several matches. Like, I think he had this really good match with Mox very early in his AEW run, or early enough, where there was split. Mm-hmm. And people in these buildings love Jay Lethal, and he was really over here, and it helped elevate what genuinely was autopilot Tony Khan booking. But, this was broadly fine.
Yeah. We see footage of MJF defending the American title against Michael Oku, soon to be All Elite Michael Oku, at the Rev Pro show, and then beating him up afterwards. Will Ospreay making the save and chasing him off before he could hit a Tiger Driver. And then they have a nice video package highlighting Ospreay's career, his rise coming to AEW. Ever since he showed up, Ospreay says everyone has to level up as a result. And MJF said the best in the world isn't Ospreay, it's MJF, who is a generational talent.
This is all fine. I think they've realized that this pro USA stuff just automatically triggers something within the American in the audience, and they just sort of like Mancurian candidates, even when they're getting buried, will chant USA, USA, USA. Probably a smart ploy to just not really touch it live setting this week, because it's in Cardiff next week, so that's when MGF can go full tilt with it again, heat it up before Wembley, so yeah, fine.
And they covered off something we've sort of speculated on for a while now, the whole situation with Pac, because immediately afterwards he says, just remind me who the number one contender is for the American title. It's not Will Ospreay, it's me. I'm sick of being constantly overlooked and treated like a bum. That was my ticket to my Wembley moment, but it's okay. I'll face whoever walks out as American champion 2 weeks later at All Out in the same arena he beat Kenny Omega 5 years ago. He'll show everyone what the bastard is capable of.
Did New love this at all? Obviously, Pac versus Ospreay, which I presume is the direction. Say it will be sensational. I think they had a really good match for Rev Pro. I think it was Rev Pro shortly after Pac was sort of out of exile in that weird 2017 to 2018 period where he was just sort of like in stasis with that WWE deal. And it went to a draw, and it was all very political and deflating. So it'll probably be a far stronger match with a far stronger finish. But shoot, like, as good as that is, you can do it any old time. You could do it at Full Gear, Wrestle Dream. Pac should be at Wembley, and he still could be in the Casino Gauntlet, and he should be in the Casino Gauntlet. But then that sort of undermines what he's going to do at All Out. This is like another resurfacing of that weird, we have to do All Out. Do you? Or do you just put everything in Wembley Stadium? So I didn't like the threat.
You worked All In last year?
Nah, I think he was injured.
Of course.
So I don't like the threat of Pac not appearing at Wembley when he's fit and healthy to go. I mean, he might be in the gauntlet.
By rights, he's the number one contender. You know,
it's just odd. He could still, I don't know. I don't know.
Do you think he would have had something had the Lucha Bros situation not changed? Maybe.
I don't know. I've got absolutely no idea. Maybe. Yeah. Wasn't it reported that there was going to be...
Maybe they're going to do the trios thing, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's just a shame, this. Hopefully he gets a cameo in the gauntlet, but then again, is that beneath Pac at Wembley?
Well, there's a way we can fix this. Normally we save this for previews, but hey, it's a wacky summer.
So,
It's time to play the game! Time to play the game! Ha 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 ha!
Who should Pac face at Wembley?
before we get to the game, I had a thought that I was like, I wish I'd said this on the podcast, right? On the Raw review. It just popped into my head. You know, you had trouble with it. The line that Rhea Ripley said to Dom, where
It wasn't quite deep enough.
Yeah, but we established that was a double entendre, talking about his cock.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, I wish I'd mentioned this in the Raw review. Can you imagine Triple H trying to sell that? Like, Dominic sold it well. He's a stooge heel, blah, blah, blah. Imagine Triple H doing that. No. Your fanny's massive, actually. My cock's massive.
Did he say something like that?
He said
even
that.
a 747.
He said that to Stephanie, of course, back in the day, but he did it in the sort of exchanges with Brett and Sean in 97. I think you'll find, no, that's not my arse I'm showing ever. Dick's massive.
Plus,
It just popped into my head. I was like, I wish I buried him. I never usually miss an opportunity to bury Paul Levesque, and I did it on Tuesday, and I'm devastated.
And now we love Dominic Mysterio after the impulsive appearance.
You loved him to begin with.
I loved him already, but...
You've been watching the journey that Dominic Mysterio has been on since 2020, and you have had a blast. Right, let's play the game.
Okay, Pro Evo rules.
Always.
Okay, I'm scrolling through the AEW roster page. Oh, it keeps going.
Shut up, man. Dickhead. You never do that with the NXT women's roster, I noticed.
No.
Stop. I just mean that in general. Just shut up.
Ooh, I tell you what. It's not going to happen, but you've got 1 to 10.
8.
Lee Johnson.
No, he's really good. He was great when I saw him live at ROH across WrestleMania weekend, and we need something bigger for Wembley, baby.
You'd have said 3, would you have had Takeshita?
Oh, God.
It's not going to happen, obviously. But right, okay, I'm going again.
Because Takeshita cannot be losing his first match back. It's stupid. Stop.
Picking up between 1 to 10.
4.
Dante Martin.
That's not big enough, baby. He's another very skilled young prospect, but we need it. It's a bust.
Okay. Okay. Right, I'm going back down now.
Step.
Oh, 1 to 10.
5.
If you'd have said 4, we'd have had Kenny Omega. Kill switch.
It's not actually happening, so it's fine. Here's another problem I had with it, other than I don't want to feel uncertainty or I want to feel down about Pac not being at Wembley. It still might happen, but it's not like that 1% of doubt where it's like, he might. They've just basically said he's not doing it, which is a bit weird. Maybe they'll work me, bro, and I'll enjoy being worked in retrospect. Not my only problem with this delivery. It was, I've been screwed, and I wanted my Wembley moment, and this is all very WWE, but old WWE. Old WWE verbiage where your character attacks the booking, which I hate. Just be a competent organization. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what
that's so lost. This word opportunity and screwed, and it's like it's infested pro wrestling verbiage for decades now, and I hate it. And AEW shouldn't do it.
That's why that happens when there's a power struggle at the top, though.
Exactly. So. And screwed. It's like, it's a bit 2010s WWE, all that, and my Wembley moment. It's like I get it. Of course, you want to wrestle at Wembley, but moment, screwed, opportunity, all of that, all of those words.
Yeah.
Piss off. Not you, Pac. I love you, but you shouldn't be told to say this.
Yeah, I do hope he gets a Wembley moment.
Thanks, mate.
Or Wembley
appearance.
Yes, thank you. We see footage of Darby Allin beating the Butcher on Rampage last week. One of Andy Murray's favourite things, that, of course. And teamed with Hologram on Collision to surprisingly defeat the Premier Athletes.
Shut up.
He talks about killing himself on the independent circuit for nothing, barely getting anything working these dates all over the place. And then he found out about All Elite Wrestling starting up and sleeping in his car, all that stuff. AEW signs Jungle Boy Jack Perry, and he thinks, who the is Jack Perry? No one believed his Tarzan BS, but he's cool. He can be himself now, which is a child who doesn't deserve respect. Every week, Darby Allin goes out and kills himself, and we see footage of this whilst he's talking about it, by the way. And with all the stuff Perry has pulled recently, he wishes he would have gotten fired, but at Wembley, they put this to an end. Darby Allin makes an entrance, but before he can even make it down the ramp, he's nailed by a running knee by Jack Perry, who drags him backstage, chucks him into boxes and what have you. Darby Allin fights back, but Jack Perry rakes the eyes, throws a bin at him, lowers a door onto his chest, and basically, I think, was going to kill Darby Allin.
Not for the first time.
He was going to run a production crate into his head where he couldn't protect himself. Thankfully, though,
this is really well done.
Yes,
like a last gasp.
Because I thought I should lay this out better. So he's got the thing. He's going to run it towards him, and then one security guy goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he turns around, piss off, and he pushes it, and you think, "Oh no, Darby Allin's going to die."
Well, I mean, I know you're doing the voice, but I kind of did.
Yeah, I did think. He can't protect himself, but this is... But
it is Darby, though.
Yeah, Darby, you're right.
You can always suspend your disbelief with these sorts of moments, because that's Darby Allin. Remember when he just took a bump down the stairs at Daly's place?
Yeah. Was it Darby? Yeah, Darby was the one where...
It was the Men of the Year.
Yes.
It was the Men of the Year, and like they were beating him up around Daly's place, and it's Darby Allin, and Darby Allin will do anything. Right? Why are you dragging him up the stairs? Yeah. And then that this like little barrier. So it's like the upper turn, like the upper
outside bit, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So you can see the outside because it's that open air amphitheater, and they go up the stairs, and it's like the levels, and there's like a barricade separating him from the ground below.
Yeah.
Throw him into it. It's like, don't do that.
What wrong move here?
What if you overshoot your trajectory and he just goes up half a foot and just goes over the side? And it's like, oh God, thank God they're not throwing him off the side of the building. Oh, they're just going to throw him down the stairs instead.
There's impossible to gimmick stairs. Yeah, down you go. Insane. I also remember... it was like really early on, like the Cracker Barrel thing.
Yeah.
Took some rough bumps in that match.
Jesus Christ. So it's always plausible.
So he's pushing the crate towards him. Thankfully, security just comes in from the side and stops him. And Perry wants a
It's
coffin
always
match.
Plausible that you'll do something like this. This angle was great.
Coffin match.
Oh my God.
Wembo.
Coffin matches are goated now. There's going to be a rich history of coffin matches involving Darby Allin all in Wembley. Which is a better history than the Fatal 4-Ways that you try to pretend were a good idea.
Did you get that last year, didn't you?
Yeah. The rich history of four-way. Shut up, man. The rich history of marginalising women into multi-women matches because we don't want more than one match on a card. Why don't you suck my gag? Jesus Christ. I had one more thing to say about this. Oh, yes, that's what I was going to say. We're effing. Glass.
He's not here.
Real glass. Coffin me a river. Do a glass coffin. There'll be glass involved. There has to be glass involved.
Yeah. So we could drive out in a hearse. Because didn't he drive out in a car last time? That was the whole point. That's why that was there.
Yeah.
Hearse this time.
Yeah. Glass hearse.
Glass hearse. all glass, everything. Glass ring, glass hearse, glass coffin. Speaking of all-in matches, Mariah May obviously facing Toni Storm. We get Mariah May's film.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
It starts black and white, and then she basically says, "I'm not doing any of that bollocks." She starts burning her Toni Storm gear. Says, "Is it better to be remembered or forgotten, to be put in the ground or go down in flames?" She could be Toni Storm's successes, but not her mistakes. This year, it's all about Mariah. Storm's biggest mistake was being around the same time as her. The tears, the taste of Storm's blood. May has better things to do, and they show great footage of the awesome angle to set all this up. One day she'll wonder, whatever happened to Toni Storm? We did get it right yesterday. Don't worry, they're both going to die. It's just Mariah May is going to write her eulogy. This was really good stuff. And then it cut to Mina Shirakawa, Renee Paquette going, "How you feeling about all this?" And she was like, "When I left, everything seemed pretty good, to be perfectly honest." I haven't heard from either of them, though. I'm heartbroken about what happened. I've never seen Mariah May be so vicious or Storm be so vengeful. I hope neither woman winds up to her after All In, which is wishful thinking, I think, from Mina.
Indeed. You were happy to see Mina Shirakawa, weren't you?
Very happy to see her back, yeah.
This was better than any live promo segment done. It was probably time to do something pre-taped. Like Mariah May, going to have to do it live eventually. Going to have to get more opportunities to talk on the microphone eventually, but I think that the primary concern isn't bringing her live interview along, it's selling the match, and this did an effective job of it.
Yeah, I agree completely. Yeah, I do think the promo wasn't great, the first one that she did, but I do kind of agree with Hamflet that for a while the crowd were like, "What's Toni Storm out here? Why am I meant to boo her?" Because it was such a good cosplay that time, and I think it just
shut up, man. Not you, Hamflet. It's just cut a promo. That's the fucking beginning and end of it. Yeah. Sorry, I think she's great mostly. Occam's razor.
Moving on, let's get to the triple three-way between Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, and Kyle O'Reilly.
Oh my God.
Sorry, I should have pressed this for the opener as well.
Oh my God.
Yeah, to determine the number one entry in the Casino Gauntlet All In. It's not a rumble. You can win it any time. That's why being number one is better, just in case people are worried about this. It starts quick. Cassidy not Strong outside, and O'Reilly holds the ropes open for him as we take a break. When we come back, Strong's in control. He hits a Uranagi on Cassidy on top of Kyle O'Reilly for a near fall. He's handing out backbreakers left, right, and center as well. He tries to do a double stronghold. Can't turn them over, though. Really loud chop from Strong on Cassidy in the corner. It just echoed around the arena.
He loves it, man. He's a machine.
O'Reilly cuts him off. Cassidy gets crotched on the top. O'Reilly and Strong go back and forth. O'Reilly locks in the guillotine, but he's in position for Cassidy to fall off the top with an elbow drop. They're all down. I should have mentioned the conglomeration came out early on. Then, here, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett came out. But Briscoe and Tomohiro Ishii put a stop to all that. There's a chair that's been introduced. And Mark Briscoe, I always think that's insane. I don't know why today specifically, I think. That's bonkers. But it is mad that you're like, I'm going to flip out of the ring. Okay, that seems insane enough, even if you're just running at full pelt towards the ropes to flip over the top of it. But to run, place your foot on a chair and then do it. I don't know why it's made my brain explode.
Yeah.
I just love Mark Briscoe.
He's the best.
Yeah, he does that. Dives onto the pile, fights them off to the back to take us to another break. We come back. Cassidy's nailing kicks on both of them. They're slowly sort of built up ones that he does. A double Hurricane Rana nearly blows the roof off the place. The fans are loving it. hits a tilt whirl on Strong, who throws Cassidy into a DDT on Riley.
Oh my
On
God.
O'Reilly, even, I should say, which looked great. They all trade thrust kicks. Strong eats multiple PKs. O'Reilly and Strong hit a high-low on Cassidy, which is a nice sort of like, you're working together.
Yeah.
But they both try and cover, and the ref puts a stop to all that. O'Reilly and Strong go back and forth. Cassidy runs into a pump knee. O'Reilly eats a sick kick. O'Reilly counters the end of Heartache into a submission. He's got the match won, but suddenly Cassidy grabs him. Crucifix pin. 1, 2, 3. It's happening, isn't it?
It is.
And for the exact reasons you laid out yesterday.
Great recap, by the way.
It was bonkers, this.
Great recap. This match was kind of a weird experience, which I'll get into why that ended in something like just euphoric. I love this. So the match is happening. It's going on a little while. And because it's a three-way and it's quite action-heavy, you think, the finish could come at any time.
Yeah.
And then I'm enjoying it. And I'm thinking this is well crafted for a three-way because they're not doing that abysmal trope of overselling to death on the outside. They've really thought about
God, a clothesline.
Yeah. They've really thought about how to do it. And I'm thinking, this is good. Not great. This is good. I'm enjoying it. And he's never going to beat the magical creature accusations, Mark Briscoe, because he comes out, wards off the kingdom. And this match just gets goated because his presence has illuminated everything. And then they go, right, okay, well, going to a break. I'm like, you're going to a break? That means, hang on. We've got way more time with this. All right, let's strap in. And then as soon as we come back from break, it's incredible. Did you see what Roderick Strong did?
You're going to have to narrow that one
This
down.
was unbelievable stuff, this. So, because I watch it on Fight, it's probably easier to see some engagement format. Might have already put it on X. We want tables. We want tables.
Yes.
So Roderick Strong goes, okay. Goes to the one side of the ring. Lifts up the skirt. He's like, ugh.
I did see this.
There's no table there. Puts his hands up. Sorry, hands up. I'll go to the right side. I know. I remember where I put
the tables on the other side.
And the table's on the other side. I remember where the table is, guys. Sorry about that. Goes to the second of four side. Yeah. Looks under. It's not there either. Hands up. Goes to the third. It's not there. What we're going to do? And then goes to the fourth. It's like, would you bloody believe it? The table's not here either. Hands up. And then a second later, the back from commercial. Yeah. And because these fans are livid, because they just want to see a table, and he's wound them up exquisitely well, the heat gets even more up. What a master at work watching Roddy Strong be this heel here. And they're like, You can hear them going, and then they would go back from commercial, and then you just get this, as you perfectly laid out, this incredibly pulsating, breathless, intricate last 5 minutes of this three-way, which kicked ass.
So on my notes there, I was like, have I written the right name down there? Because it was so like, so-and-so got this, but this hit this and this, and then these two teamed up on this. But even if I did get one wrong, that exemplifies the chaos of the last few
chaotic,
minutes.
So well arranged.
All for just the number one spot. It makes it feel big time.
Exactly, that's a great take as well. It never felt like so choreographed, which is so impressive when it's a match of this nature. Like, I love that high-low spot.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I rewound it because I was like, wait a second, that's...
Yeah, who's working with who here? Who's going to get this pin? And it just... This is... I'm not saying all Dynamite is like this or should be, but it's still like only on Dynamite action this. You're not going to get it this breathless, this urgent, this like really well arranged sort of energy and chaos and like level of work and how much some of it looked like it killed. You're not going to get it anywhere else. This is an AEW match in the best possible use of that description.
And it's going to be really good. And there'll be arseholes who say, where's this come from? We're not going to give them any time of day here. It's going to be really good. We didn't nail what the finish was, but we got what the intention of the finish was here, i.e. that nagging thing that Roddy Strong can kind of make more of, even though it's a, you're all shake hands and it's a three-way, one of us has to win, of him being like, did kind of nick that victory away from me there.
Yeah, he stole it.
I was about to tap, mate. Yeah. But, he just, now he's going to be like,
how many more times is this going to happen? It's Good.
One more loss, I think, for Kyle O'Reilly.
It's time.
I think you're right.
I think it's time.
It's the actual match.
Yeah. I think it's time now because it's gone on quite a long time. And I think people haven't picked it up as this sort of character development.
All fighting for the right to lose to the Beast Mortal.
Yes. What a wonderful way to die.
We get that face-to-face between Claudio and Okada. I was glad they did this backstage. I think it worked a lot better. And it's still got a good crowd reaction as well. They're suited and booted. They've got the Continental title match next week in Cardiff. Claudio says basically he's always felt like the Continental title was his to lose. And when he lost the Continental Classic, it was tough. This time he's going to make the title shot count. Okada takes the piss. This is all very passionate. 12 guys fought for the Continental title, but I'm the champion. I'm a 4-time G1 Climax winner. You're going to respect me. Good luck, bitch. Walks off. And Claudio says, I hope I don't get that version of Okada. I hope I don't get the elite lackey from the other week. I want the Rainmaker. I want the Tokyo Dome main eventer. I'm bringing everything I've got next week. Okada's going to have 99 problems, and this bitch is going to be number one. Call yourself a bitch.
Yeah. There's some decent lines in the volley, the verbal duel, but like this is kind of whack. It's like, why would you dress up in a suit to get interviewed by Renee Paquette in the sort of backstage segment that happens between 3 and 10 times on every episode of Dynamite? I love dressing up in a suit. You feel the bollocks.
It's best you're ever going to look. Basically.
It's the best you're ever going to look. You feel the bollocks. But, you dress up.
Should we start wearing suits for the pod? Just not to handful one week.
Yeah. So you dress up. That's the thing, though. You put yourself in a suit because you're going for a wedding. You're going for a christening. You're going for an occasion or whatever. I don't wear a suit when I'm doing something commonplace. Like going to Aldi after work to get some bits that we need. Commonplace in AEW, the equivalent is a backstage segment with Renee Paquette. They're often very good. I'm not saying Renee Paquette isn't incredible at her job, but you do this in the ring. You don't wear suits for a 1-minute backstage seg. It looked silly. And I think it actually removed any sense of gravitas that could have possibly built. It's just a weird collision between how they were dressed and the backdrop.
I had a bit of a thing, actually. I'm not sure if it's affected other people as well. I had some lovely suits. I love wearing them. I look great in them. Obviously, got married in 2019. I was doing like best man stuff and groomsman stuff. So I had a nice sort of selection of suits. And then 2022 rolls around and weddings are sort of back on. And it must be something in the material because they'd all shrunk all of a sudden. I was putting the suits on and I was like, wow, what's going on
It's such a strange phenomenon that the exact same things happened to me. Where I was in an event recently, and I was like, right, okay, well, all reliable suits over there. Get one of them dry clean, pop them on just to make sure. Which one do I want to wear?
Yeah.
You see. And, try them on just to make sure they still fit because obviously they're still going to fit.
They're still gonna fit.
Obviously they're still going to fit. Why would you even ask the question?
Nothing's changed in the last 5 years.
Nothing's changed. Yeah. So I was like, right, which one is it going to be? Why the shrunk? Why are the shrunk? What's going on here? I know.
I did it with a pair of jeans, I remember, because I wore tracky bottoms or just pajamas for about a year, I think.
Didn't actually shrink. No. You thinking the shrink? No. What happened was I fancied instead, like, I'm not into fashion as much as I used to be, and I think, it's passed me by a little bit with the age I am, but I thought, what I fancy doing here? Like a bold sartorial choice. I'm going to wear a mismatched suit.
Ooh.
A mismatched suit.
Yeah.
Do you want to know why? It's nothing to do with the fact that, can't close the buttons, but you can still wear the jacket and trousers are too tight. I thought mismatched is the way to go.
Kind of a
stylistic choice.
Yeah.
Stylistic choice.
Trendsetter.
Didn't have to buy any pair of pants because it didn't fit. Nothing to do with that.
No. But by the way, in the last few years, fallen in love with waistcoats just to pack it all in. Don't touch it.
Thing is, I think it's just lame, if anything, to button your suit jackets. That's why I don't do it.
Yeah, don't do that.
You don't button them.
No.
It's gotta be
James Bond.
Too casual for that, bro. So.
We get to see footage of that awesome guest referee performance from Christian Cage from Collision.
Yeah.
It was really funny.
Good version of a dumb thing.
Yeah.
A great version of a dumb thing. 6, 7, 8, 9. 10.
Renee's there going.
Christian Cross there.
Yeah.
Carrion Cage. Sorry, that was alliteration. I'm sorry about that. I hate myself.
Are these titles going to be defended at Wembley? And he said, well, I called that match right down the middle, which, I mean, actually, to be fair to him.
And I mean, folks, where's the lie?
He sounds like he's on the moon. It sounds like he's on the moon, Bobby
So
Fish.
clear, he said, kind of on those teams for not winning the match, to be honest. I'm using these trios titles as a vehicle to win the world title. In fact, I'm going to win all the belts, he said. I won't be there for my son, Nick Wayne, though, wrestling Kip Sabian on Rampage because I hate Norfolk. And she said, well, is that not because you're scared of the teams wanting to get revenge for what happened on Collision? And he said, get lost and go be a mother. I hope you're a better mother than an interviewer. Also, it's such, I know what they're doing, obviously, but it is such a funny visual of Nick Wayne, Trios champion.
This is what I talk about when I talk about AEW.
Christian Cage, Trios champion. Nick Wayne's mom, got it going on, and a Trios champion. Kill switch. Just there.
That's what I like about AEW,
I assume that match will be added to Wembo next week.
All right, well, there's more important priorities tonight, let me tell you.
What have we got now? 10. Okay. Well, 9 matches on the main card. Actually, they've just put it on. Someone just put it on there. You assume it's happening. Tony Schiavone's in the ring, points to the rafters. Hook's signal appears. Hook comes out. He's got a bandaged eye after being blinded by it's one of the best fireball sells I've seen in recent years. The amount of times you're just like, fireball. Better now. So he's still selling that eye injury, and Hook and Schiavone asks about it, and he says, I can't see out my eye, but I can see fine out the other one, and he wants to fight Jericho right now for the FTW title. Calls him out. I'm the learning tree. Out comes Chris Jericho and the gang. They got a laugh from me this week, I will say that. Not Chris Jericho.
Same.
They come out. He calls Hook a stupid son of a bitch. He teases, oh, you want to fight right now? You want to fight right now? Nah, I'm not going to fight right now.
Wrestling. Every bloody week.
You want to fight right now? You want to fight right now? We haven't got much time left on there. We got an overrun?
Every week until I'm fucking dead.
He says, you're not worth my time right now, but Wembley, let's go. But I do have a few caveats. This is his last chance at the FTW title. When he loses, he has to stop challenging for it and leave the Jericho Vortex. So not all bad news if you lose.
Yeah, I would just lay down in the middle of the freaking ring. To yourself.
Yeah. And also, he's got to face Big Bill next week, who says, Big Bill says, this is what made me laugh, I'm going to beat you up, and I'm going to beat you down, and I'm going to shove you up Taz's ass. And Brian Keith, this is why he works, goes, Taz's ass! like that. And I laughed out loud at that. Great stuff from Keith. Even Taz laughed at it, to be fair. Hook accepts, and he said he's going to dump Big Bitch on his head and tear Jericho limb from limb. And after Wembley, Jericho will never, ever be the same again, which actually used to be a catchphrase of Chris Jericho.
But do and magic goo. Who can Jericho? I don't know, man. Right, this is very uneven, and I hate the destination. You know what Hook's reminded me of when this is a burial, so I'm sorry. I do think he's got a lot of potential, etc. And he kicks ass when he kicks ass. Mm-hmm. That line of, I can't see out of this eye, but guess what? I can see out the other one. That line was like, when you do I'm sure everyone in the world has seen this. It's got like 300 million views. Well, 7 billion, so obviously not. Those 100 worst action movie lines.
Yes.
Where it's like, you know what happens when you set a toad on fire with lightning?
Yeah.
the same thing as everything else. It was like that. Oh, what? Huh? Like,
was that meant to be badass?
Yeah. So that was like, I could see out the other one, and it's like that's not the best badass threat of all time. No. And in fact, his facials were a little bit corny. Like, he has to. It's called a promo kid. You have to learn how to cut one, but he's not good at them yet. He just isn't.
Pre-tapes he's good at.
Yeah. Yes. The
ones on like the street.
In the streets of New York. He did the thing where a little bit, and then you raise your voice a bit, and you get the crowd going. Like the vocal register was good. I think this would have been abysmal had he not sworn. That's how he got the crowd. He did say, yeah, not good. The learning tree were quite funny. I need this match like I need a hole in the head. You know what I mean? As I mentioned before, I was missing for last year's All-In trip, so I'm thinking, see Chris Jericho do his Freddie Mercury impression again. Thank God for that. Thank God for that. I do not need to see this match. But Jericho's got to have his Wembley time.
Well, so I was thinking, when they were building to it, I was like, oh, well, you've got All Out, and Pac's already established that we need to get some more matches on that card. It's 2 weeks after All In. Now Wembley is.
I was like, I was hoping and praying, because Jericho's not wrestling Wembley. He's not wrestling at Wembley. So I'm thinking, right, okay, well, he's in a stable. There's Hook, there's Joe. Like Shibata's, obviously that trio was, and then Suzuki's been folded in. Maybe we're going to get some kind of stadium stampede or on other kind of multi-man where it's like there's other people to distract you from the fact that Jericho's there, and Jericho's singles match record hasn't been great for a long time. Now it's just trying to manifest it. No, we're getting Hook versus Jericho. This cannot go 17 minutes like the last one. It cannot. No. Hook versus Jericho on pay-per-view was a dud. A real dud.
For a match that's just like, do whatever you want.
Yeah. Here's something, okay? Because I'm not in next week again. Wacky Summer. It's not Wacky Summy. Wacker Summy. It's called being a parent and the kids have a summer break, so I have to look after
System's
them.
broken.
It's not as, it's just not as snappy, that, is it?
No.
So I don't know if I'm going to get the chance to do a full in-depth podcast length preview. So with that in mind,
it's time to play the game! Time to play the game! Ha ha ha!
What local item is going to be used in the FTW title match?
Yeah, pucks and
because hockey pucks and poker dice.
Yeah.
So basically, as we've established, when Chris Jericho defends the FTW title, he uses a region-specific bit of plunder. What did he use in the last one? Nashville against Suzuki. Didn't really do anything. He just chopped.
Was the horseshoes one? Was that one?
Oh yeah, horseshoes. I've used hockey pucks. Dice or poker chips when they did Double or Nothing. You know what they should do? And it's the wrong football stadium. Adam Nicholas will know all about this. It's the wrong football stadium, right? Because they're at Wembley in real life. Okay? At St. James's Park, the home of Newcastle United FC, they sell... FC. They sell pies that are, when people use like metaphor and they say something like hotter than the surface of the sun, hotter than the surface of the sun. Nicholas, how hot are the pies at St. James's Park?
Hotter than the surface of the sun.
You can't. You go down at 15 minutes half time.
It's got a swift turnaround.
Swift turnaround. But 15 minutes. So by the time you get out your seat, you could leave a little bit earlier, but by the time you get out your seat, you queue up for the pie for a halftime snack, which you ideally want to eat before the second half commences, right? Because you can concentrate on the second half.
Burns in your mouth.
You have to wait until full time to eat the thing. It's too hot. If they get those out steaming on the canvas at Wembley Stadium,
Jesus,
and you get body slammed on a St. James's Park pie.
Which would still be hot after travelling.
Yeah.
Yes.
Still be hot.
it's hotter than an Inferno match. So, but what are they really going to do?
They could, it's London, so rather than like using it as a weapon, they could hold his mouth open and give him some jelly deals.
Jelly deal.
Jelly deals?
Jelly deals.
Hit him with a replica World Cup.
Yes. They could get like that little black sack where the thumbtacks are, and that's the gimmick. And it's not thumbtacks. Wouldn't you just know it? Jericho's been to the gift shop or whatever.
Yes.
The miniature things of Big Ben.
Yeah.
Lying obviously down because of the stood up. You'd get your bloody, you get a second asshole if it goes anywhere near you. So the Big Ben replica little toys. Silly Jerry!
Silly Jerry!
What else is like? We're from here. We should know.
Beef eaters. Dressed as a beef eater. I don't know. Teddy bears that are dressed as beef eaters. Have they got any weapons? Do beef eaters have weapons?
Are those like...
I don't want a restaurant.
What's English? That would hurt to bump on.
Yeah, they have. I told you they got a weapon. Got one of them.
Spike.
Here's my foot on a spike.
I don't know. It'll be tourist stuff, won't it?
Yeah.
Little phone box or something.
Phone box. Yeah, beat him up in a phone box. Throw him in a phone box and beat him up in there.
But it's the sack, though. It's the sack. It's got to be small enough to fit in a sack.
Teapots. Smashed teapots.
Yes! 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 Because we love our tea and crumpets and blighty.
Yeah.
So what we do is you get like fine china from a British teapot.
You wouldn't get out unless the royal family was coming around, as people used to say, not make sense about that.
Yes, indeed. So we'll do that. And then I'm going to build on the idea. So you got the cracked china from a British teapot to have your tea. And then there's an unbroken one.
Yes.
Boiling hot water in Chris Jericho's face.
Missed spot.
Ah! Match of the night, if anything.
We fixed it.
I still don't want to see it ever. I might go for a big old piss when this goes on.
You're going to say pint and you went piss.
Why not both? Yeah.
I discovered the
Boddingtons.
origin of piss poor.
You haven't got a pot to piss in.
It's the same thing, yeah. You haven't got a pot to piss in because they used to sell their piss. So you haven't got a pot to piss in to sell it, but you're also piss poor. Yeah. I didn't know that. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah. I'm not that. I hope it's just the end here. You could get the lads who cut down the tree up here to come down and help out. Like Sycamore Gap, yeah.
The sycamore tree.
Yeah, just a chainsaw. You could just have a chainsaw. Well, there you go. Anything's possible with Chris Jericho right now, to be perfectly honest. He, of course...
Other than him getting over.
That's what he wanted to, though. Booing me, just like I asked. Of course, All In is the same day as Sweet Chin Disco. I should mention, actually... I'm
going to check the transfer rumours. You do this.
I need your help with this, actually, because Sweet Chin Disco's the Sunday night, but earlier on a few days before, Fozzy have got a gig. Now, Sweet Chin Disco's sold out. Has Fozzy's gig sold out?
Sweet Chin Disco did. First try.
But there are limited tickets available on the night. And as well as that, earlier on in the day, ahead of All In, is the What Culture live show. WhatCulture.com/tickets. It goes down midday on the Sunday of All In. Join us for that. We're going to be doing a live show. We're going to be doing an extended meet and greet. And then we're all going to walk over to Wembley for All In because it's mere minutes away. It goes down at the Crystal Club. And then you go back to Crystal Club after All In, after what went down and ups and downs, of course. And join us for Sweet Chin Disco with special guest appearances by Max Caster, Prince Nana, maybe some others. Wembley is just around the corner after all, and hosted by me. Right, let's move on to the next match on AEW Dynamite.
No new signings.
No? Nothing?
No.
You got on the weekend?
Southampton at home.
Good luck. That's a bloody journey, isn't it? First day of the season.
For them.
For them.
Maybe you get on,
Make a weekend of it.
we get it on Boxing Day.
They really do hate the clubs that aren't like their special ones. Yeah, go wherever. Bollocks to you.
Whatever.
AEW tag team titles on the line. The Young Bucks versus the Acclaimed. I had a horrible feeling when we did the intro and you said, I really liked some matches on this show and I really didn't like some others. And I thought, I think I can bet where this is going. Anyway, Caster and Bowens attack the Bucks on the stage. Bowens dives off the stage onto both men. They go into the ring. The Acclaimed are double teaming them. And then there's a blind tag by Nicholas Jackson. Hits a pop-up dropkick on Caster and they control as they go to a break. When we come back, Matthew Jackson escapes Sesame Timbers, rolls to the floor. There's Caster and Billy Gunn. Nicholas nails Caster with a kick. Gunn chasing him around ringside with a chair, but referee Rick Knox kicks out Billy Gunn, who's apoplectic at this. So Max Caster gets isolated, but Nicholas Jackson distracts himself ripping up a Dung Bucks sign with a poo thing on it.
Stop laughing.
That allows Max Caster to throw the sign at him, get the tag to Bowens, but he got cut off with an assisted standing slice spread into a knee to the face for 2 as we go to another break. When we come back, Max Caster gets the hot tag, runs wild, sling blades everywhere, presses Matthew over his head, face first into the corner, takes out Nicholas with a slingshot dive. Caster's trying to get Bowens back in, but Matthew powerbombs him off the apron onto the stage. Caster is in trouble now. The Bucks went for the TK driver, but Rick Knox gets knocked into in all of this. That allows Matthew Jackson to kick him low. They throw the tag title into the ring, but here comes FTR to stop all that from happening. Dax takes the belt away from Matthew, spits in his face. So Harwood can't stand no more. Shoots a double leg. The ref sees it happen, calls it DQ win for the Bucks. Billy Gunn comes.
Did you spill my tequila?
Billy Gunn comes out of the ring with security. They all have to be separated. And Renee Paquette's backstage with Christopher Daniels. What the hell's going on here? Who announces that it will be the Acclaim versus FTR on Collision. Winners facing Young Bucks at Wembo.
We'll do a tight 20-minute draw. That's 20 minutes long match. Is a good one, I hear. Christ almighty. I was depressed watching this. I thought the match, I will say, I've seen worse ways to do this kind of finish.
Yes, I agree.
I've seen worse ways to do this kind of finish, which known Dax Harwood, I think he watched a little show called SummerSlam 1997 to do it. I've seen worse ways of doing it, but on the back of an 18-minute match. What? This was worrying as someone who really, really loves the Young Bucks, wants them to be the best version of themselves. Is starting to half worry that they've become plunder match merchants who were really only up for the Sting thing and now are just, I don't know, man. It was weird. Like, you saw the hot start, promised some urgency, nice, like, lean, proper TV match, back and forth, bit of suspense, not too long, and it just seemed to, so the start promised something that the body of the match just didn't deliver upon at all. It felt like the thing about the Young Bucks is that their best matches build, and then the perfect Young Bucks match, it's like, builds to a peak. It's like, you cannot possibly escalate this any further in terms of your levels of excitement and drama. And they go up a level and then somehow up a level. How are you doing this? Right? This just kind of looped. It kind of looped. There was like a double heat and all the rest of it, because it went 18 minutes and so hang on, haven't they done the hot tag already? What we're doing here? There was a really cool moment where you thought, right, we're getting there with this, we're getting there. It just felt so slippery and it's like these think of these things trying to click and it just never clicked. I thought, right, we're getting something here when Max Caster did that awesome sort of gorilla press lawn dart. Right, we're getting somewhere. This is cool. They've built it really well, and then it just meandered again. It's like just like this deflating series of. This was just so weird. Like, considering they are the most thoughtful, detailed tag team probably ever in terms of the wider stories that they tell, the way they construct their matches, worryingly mindless from the Bucks here. Did enjoy, on a totally ironic level, because I'm so over him, Daddy Ash just getting his pop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just getting his supplement. Let's get my little pop and come out here. And then the finish was... it's way too long to be doing it, and then we know
the lesser of many evils, I suppose.
Yeah, but then it was just the time. Like, didn't need to go 18 minutes just for that. So I was really let down and just depressed, and quite frankly, bored by this. If there's one thing you can never, or were never able to say about the Young Bucks, you know, the cliche, love them or hate them, that was compelling. You're never bored by them. I'm bored. Oh, it's really sad.
What do you think happens on Collision?
20-minute draw.
Yeah.
20-minute draw or some kind of finish like this, but it's going to a 3-way. It just is.
Yeah, they can't have Young Bucks come out and attack both of them and be like, well, no one's won that because you've literally just done that sort of thing to set up.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it feels like the fire was extinguished quite a while ago. It feels like I've never really got it from them since 2021. Jesus Christ, it's almost as long as AEW's existence. Like almost half the length of the existence of the promotion now, which is really alarming, sad and worrying. I don't ultimately care. I think I'm very much at they'll deliver on the night stage.
Yeah.
But then to a lot of people that didn't really last year until the last 5 minutes, I was thinking about this, right? So you've got a pretty much all but guaranteed 3-way match, however they arrive at it, at All In. Young Bucks, Acclaimed, FTR. It's a match between a heel team, the Young Bucks, who haven't felt as irrelevant ever. A heel team who are quite irrelevant in the heel role, nowhere near at that level of maybe a face turn can save them because they're heels, you know? You've got, and now they can't do the whole... Well, we were day one as we built this company, babyface heroes, because, as I've mentioned before, that level of investment in AEW just isn't there to tell that story. Then you've got two teams who peaked in 2022, and if they turned heel next month, you'd think, makes sense, it was time.
Yes.
What, like, this division needs an axe to the face. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Not the phrase I was expecting you to use, but
it needs an axe to the face. It needs to be hire Molotov cocktail and just blow it up. This is like these teams couldn't be further away from the glory years in AEW. Underneath, Private Party on Rampage doing some stuff, Top Flight doing some stuff here and there.
The Outrunners are right there, mate. Come on. This
division needs a complete 100% overhaul. Yikes.
What do you make of the video package for Bryan Danielson?
The sound mixing was weird. I was wanting to hear the song, and then there was like loads of cheering, but that was only the first 30 seconds. After that, it was like, oh, God.
Yeah, I got a bit of that.
It's one of those where, like, it's coming to an end, and well, is it? He'll do special attraction matches. It just feels like this AEW run in particular, match quality wise, I'm going to miss it like so much. It's just a total genius. This is really lovingly put together.
Yeah, clips of Ring of Honor, New Japan, PWG, Road Diaries.
The thing with like I forget the name of the Danielson, Kenny Omega, where they say they've got the same name and it's some stupid name. It's like, different times.
And just the end quote, if you fight for your dreams will fight for you. I was like, I do sometimes, it just slips my mind briefly. Oh yeah, he was done. That was it.
That was the worst.
Years ago, he's just like, yep.
It was the worst.
He's finally done it at WrestleMania 30. And he's got a feud with Kane, thank goodness for that. And then that was it. And he was like,
yeah, like that.
We get him as GM.
6 matches in 2015. And it was it again. He got him as GM. Then he made his miraculous comeback. The second that the indie boom started to really explode, And then it's like, oh, he's making his heroic return from injury. Let's have Shane McMahon just fight for him at WrestleMania 34. Yeah. Aye, no, man.
Planet's Champion stuff was going.
I was totally goated. That was the last time I truly, in early 2019 of all years.
Yeah.
I remember was so fired up about the direction. I think I made peace with the idea that it was never going to be what I wanted it to be. That's fine because New Japan was on fire at the time and all the rest of it, and that scene was just really sort of on fire. I was like, right, if I go in with a diminished expectation of what WWE can do, Ronda was on fire.
I remember you losing your mind as well at Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
His entrant.
So you had that. Ronda was still in that really good run.
Yeah.
She had Royal Rumble 2019. Obviously, there was the one bad Daniel Bryan match. Going into that show, I remember, I've made my peace with what this is. Chaotically bad and peaking brilliantly. It was so uneven, but in a captivating way. That was the last time I truly felt something for that promotion.
But yeah, really good stuff. And, perfectly lining up, obviously, with the main event. It was Swerve versus Wheeler Yuta. Bryan Danielson sat in the front row to watch what he did to Yuta, like Swerve did last week for Danielson, of course. So Strickland just sends Yuta to the outside. No messing about with, just like, I'm back heel now. Because he just sends Yuta to the outside, keeps throwing him in front of the barricade, in front of the steps in the barricade, trash talking him. This is an appetizer. I'll cripple you. I'll retire you. That sort of thing. Yuta did make some comebacks. Countered a buckle bomb into a Hurricane Rana to the floor. Hits an elbow suicider out there. Yuta sets up for a dive, but Strickland just sidestepped it. Put him in the LeBell lock. But Yuta rolls out into an ankle lock. Strickland tries for a rolling flatliner, but Yuta sidesteps that and hit a German suplex and tried cattle mutilation. Strickland escapes. They just slap the hell out of each other. Strickland just starts really absorbing these shots. Headbutt drops Yuta. 3 house call kicks just nail him. And he's got the match won, but he decides, no, I'm just going to keep stomping on him, basically, until Bryce has to call the match. He still won't stop, so Danielson jumps the barricade and hits the ring. Strickland bails, grabs a mic, says, that's a message for you, Bryan Danielson. It's just an example of what I'm going to do to you in 2 weeks. You're going to bring your family, sitting where you were sat tonight. Your daughter's going to watch your dad wrestle for the last time. By the way, nice line from Danielson on, socials or what afterwards, saying that Swerve Strickland has sealed his fate by mentioning my daughter. Anyway, Swerve says, I'm going to force you to quit. I'm going to retire you. And it looks like Swerve's left. Danielson's checking on Wheeler Yuta, but obviously he's turned his back on Swerve, who slides in and hits a house call kick on Danielson and even does the yes chants once Nana does his dance to close out this show.
Yeah, I felt nothing for this. Nothing at all. And, sometimes I feel guilty about not feeling much for something. I don't think this is my fault one friggin' bit. I thought the match itself, it's just impossible to take Yuta seriously, and it's not his fault. He's got all the talent in the world. I feel like I have to caveat every single bloody thing, but as a character, it's just... I would get wary of how I sort of prepare or get into these sort of spiels, because you start worrying that you sort of echo the Bad Faith podcasters, and you use criticisms that they do, and I never want to be confused with one of those arseholes. But at the same time, broken clocks are right twice a day. And think about, I've enjoyed this build immensely between Swerve and Danielson. I think it is the right choice.
Yes.
I'm a Danielson guy. I am. And I think on a character level, and this is good character booking from Tony Khan, which I'm about to bury him for imminently, the more you infuriate Hangman, the more you juice up that build, the more that you progress that character arc. So they've done a really good job with the Hangman arc. The Blackpool Combat Club stink. And the second that it becomes a bit Blackpool Combat Clubby, this build, it just stinks. And it just undermines this story. It'll be great next week, and it'll be great on the night, and I've enjoyed it. This is a blip in terms of this specific program. Last night's Dynamite in terms of the world title picture, but it goes into a broader conversation that we're going to have right now. The Blackpool Combat Club stink, but I don't think it's just the Blackpool Combat Club. I think it's a part of Tony Khan's booking, and it's just genuinely not good enough. Outside of last night, when he suddenly cares about him again, When was the last truly meaningful interaction between Bryan Danielson and Wheeler Yuta?
Mate, I saw your tweet about this morning, and I thought that it's a good point for a mentor-protege relationship.
And you're meant to take it seriously as that. It's at their convenience.
I have no idea. Absolutely no idea.
So it's Moxley who has that Yuta connection initially.
Yeah.
I'm going to give myself such a stupidly impossible task here to wade through the history of the Blackpool Combat Club, the endless sort of situational turns and not doing much and then doing something and whatever. It's been such a crap stable storytelling-wise. It really has. It stinks. So it kind of starts with Danielson and Moxley saying we should bleed in the new generation in our image of hard-nosed technical violence, take over, rebuild in our own image. And then in order to do that, they was like, all right, okay, well, we'll take Garcia and Yuta. And then because it's every star gets a say, Jericho takes Garcia, right? So they have Yuta. But it stems from Yuta earning the respect of John Moxley, okay? And then Claudio comes in and then Regal comes and goes. But the Yuta thing starts off with Mox and Yuta, realistically. Danielson, in fact, seems to rate Garcia more highly, to the point where he's like, no, they've wrestled way more than Danielson and Yuta have. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, listeners on X, if at M Sidgwick, there's a little subplot, I can't even remember when this is, where Danielson, like in front of Yuta, says, Garcia could be the next best technical wrestler in the world.
This. Yeah.
Garcia could be the next best technical wrestler in the world. And Yuta's like, thanks, mate. I'm literally sat right here. That never really gets picked up on. The BCC just become kind of mates again, collectively, teaming on various collisions, rampages, dynamites, and then Danielson will be kind of a babyface one week, and then Mox and Claudio will be heels when they're working the Lucha Brothers and writing Phoenix off the week after. And then Danielson and Claudio are baby faces when they're working Big Bill and Ricky Starks. A total and utter mess, throughout which there is hardly any meaningful exchanges, interactions between Bryan Danielson and Wheeler, that would suggest he's so annoyed here. I'm watching this thing and you are taking the piss. I don't believe this relationship. I don't believe this dynamic. I don't believe this angle. And as I said, this is a blip. I'm broadly still into Swerve Danielson, but it's just a problem principally with the storytelling in AEW. How am I meant to take this seriously? This had no emotional gravity to it whatsoever. And it's like your penultimate angle before your biggest match of the year. It's the biggest match of the year. Swerve Danielson is in the biggest stadium on the biggest show. That's going to probably get the biggest buy rate. What's this? And it speaks to a broader problem where something happens, right? And he just doesn't tend to it. Tony Khan keeps a messy house. He just hasn't tended to this supposed relationship between Danielson and Yuta to the point where when this sort of thing happens, I feel nothing. It got an all right reaction. But like, can you imagine if Danielson and Yuta, this had been tended to with a smaller, fixed, less rotating cast, tended to, and you believe in them and develop a chemistry. They really have chemistry together. And like, you do this angle where it's like, he's going to kill his sort of surrogate son, his protege. And it's like, you would have that feeling of, get him. I need you to get him. You would suspend your disbelief. You would go back into that mode of like being a real fan again.
Yeah.
And you think, you cannot do that to Yuta. You know how much he means to Danielson. You cannot do that. You'd feel so much more emotionally invested. Instead, it's just a thing that happens.
I felt more when Garcia got attacked and Daddy Magic came to his aid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because they have established a chemistry and they did sort of, all right, that's a thing. We won't really tend to it, but just keep it in mind.
I'll remember it, yeah.
We'll need it again in 18 months. I mean, it's just not good enough, and this happens quite often across the board in AEW. And it just really struck me. It was like, oh yeah, I'm meant to feel something for this, and I feel absolutely nothing. Here's a comparison, right? And it's maybe not like for like, because obviously one's more of an important storyline. drawing a comparison between something I don't even like. Can you imagine if you just told, right? Yeah, Rhea Ripley's going out with Dominic Mysterio. If you told that a year ago and they just don't interact, like hardly ever. They'll team, but like you never see them in the context of their interpersonal relationship. And then, all right, he's going to go out with Liv Morgan. It's like, so what? Doesn't even care about Rhea Ripley. Like, they're not even like together on screen half the time. This is why I prefer February 2020. These details used to matter. There were more characters to focus on. You weren't just, remember that. You'll need it in a year. It's just not good enough. No. You need to start tending to every individual character. And again, one more thing. I've made the point, right, where if you combine Tony Khan's flair with Paul Levesque's focus, you get one great booker. Because there are, and I understand I'm a raging hypocrite because I will talk on Raw about this again. We're seeing it, we get it. But as I said on WWE leaning sort of podcasts, it pays off because the emotional investment is there and you can actually take it seriously. And yeah, there's some dry weeks, but profile and focus matters. That's how you get your huge moments. And wrestling is a moment's business. How many goddamn times these people have to tell me this? This wasn't a moment last night. It could have been, but it wasn't. And it's not just this. It's a lot of things in AEW, and maybe that's why the gates are so down. It's kind of hard to emotionally invest.
Fascinated to know your thoughts on this. Do let us know in the comment section below or on X at WhatCulture WWE. Well, actually, you can follow both of us. Follow Michael Sidgwick at
M. Sidgwick.
You can follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow our brilliant producer at It's Adam Nicholas. And follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. Make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. But for now, this has been the Dynamite Review. My thanks to Michael Sidgwick. Thank you for joining us. And we will see you soon.